Right, it's the pointy end of the Big Bash season. The Aussies are taking on India and England in the Women's Tri-Series, and we'll even talk a little bit of mankading as well, that wonderful topic. All that and a lot more on episode 35 of the Kingsgrove Sports Centre podcast. Hello everybody, and as I said, welcome to episode 35 of the Kingsgrove Sports Centre podcast. Joining me today is coach extraordinaire of the East Dolphins, the undefeated Green Shield champions for 2019-20. Stephen Green, welcome.
Thank you, Stuart. I just thought I'd bring out just
there it is
for the viewer out there, just the premiership winning medal. There we go.
There we go. Excellent. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll go a bit more in depth about that a little bit later on. But of course, we also have the man in the corner, making sure that us two jokers can go to where in some sort of professional manner. Good morning, Nick. How are we?
Good morning, guys. Doing well.
Excellent.
Doing good. Yeah.
Excellent. Nick, how can people get in touch with us if they'd like to comment on our performance? Maybe,
that's a very good question. It's a very good question. So you can reach out to us. Yeah, reach out to us on all our social media channels. We're at facebook.com/Kingsgrove Sports Center, Instagram at Kingsgrove Sports, and Twitter at Kingsgrove Sport. If you're watching us here on YouTube, obviously you can see the podcast here on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, any place you listen to podcasts, we're there. And if we're not there, if you can add a podcast with an RSS feed, we put the RSS feed for our podcast in the description of every YouTube video. So yeah, if there's a topic you want us to discuss, or you have feedback or comments or questions, or sometimes we read listener questions on the show, just reach out to us on any of those platforms. Use a hashtag KSC podcast so we know you're getting our attention.
Let us know. We are taking over the world, as I said.
I haven't been here for a while, so how's the Crimson Tide? What's the situation there?
So that ended up, NCAA football season's over. They had a national championship versus, we were out. We didn't make the championship.
Okay.
So we lost too many games. So we got LSU as national champions this year.
Oh, dear.
Okay, well done them.
Undefeated, totally undefeated season. They didn't lose a game all year.
If you're undefeated, you deserve to win a premiership.
Speaking of undefeated, let's talk about.
Do we get it out of the way early?
Yeah, let's get it out of the way early before we get into some Big Bash and some other stuff. Let's talk
some
about
other cricket.
Let's talk about Green Shield. So for those that don't know, Stephen, that might be listening from interstate or overseas, what is the AW Green Shield?
The Green Shield competition's the under-16s competition in New South Wales. Some would say the best under-16 competition in Australia.
Yeah, I
don't know. I can't confirm or deny that. That's what I got told. But it doesn't really matter. We won it, and I don't care what they say.
Yeah. Now this is the first time that East have won it since like 1976 or something like that.
Yep. 77 was the last time we won it. I was not born. Neither were you or Nick.
No.
But true. Yeah. So 42, 43 seasons, and it's just been a great couple of weeks.
You also had a fantastic season at the start of the season when you're putting the squad together. You're obviously always confident as a coach, but you probably need to be realistic, and you probably didn't have. Were you confident that you could play well and you could get into the finals at least? Was that the goal?
I thought we had a side that could make the finals. I didn't think we'd finish where we did. I probably thought, if we make the finals, then we realign and go again. But just the way everything worked out, it worked out perfectly. I don't think we had it's probably not a good thing to say, but it wasn't the hardest draw leading in.
Yeah.
We did play teams that weren't inside the top 8 at all for the season. But you still got to beat who they put in front of you, and I think we did it very, very well on occasion. Some we going for bonus points and things like that. We lost a few wickets and gave a few heart flutters, but overall, I just think it was an amazing performance by the group of 15 blokes. So
what do you think? What do you think was the key? Why did you end up winning?
Oh, I think everyone in the squad played a part. We had a few guys, or one guy come in, one guy come out, due to different things, and but when we needed people to step up, they did.
Yeah.
And as I said in the after the final in the change rooms, I said, well, I could name a different thing that each player has done to actually turn a game or win a game for us, and I don't think too many clubs would have had that same talk that every one of you guys actually did a job.
Yeah.
I found that there was a lot of there's probably 2 or 3 big guns in each team.
Yeah.
And then if they don't fire, then they're relying on the blokes that aren't as good. And I think we had guys doing our top couple of blokes didn't perform early, but we had other blokes stepping up and say, okay, I'm going to do the job.
Yeah. So obviously, big. The final, it was a big game. Obviously, the final. All finals are big games. But you're coming up against the old club, St George.
Yep.
Who obviously also had a good season. They did have some standout players. Run us through the game. What happened?
It's a bit of a blur. The nerves were kicked in about 6:30 the night before. But they got 220, and I thought we let them go early. They got off to a really good start, and we pegged them back a bit in the middle.
Yep.
So they probably should have got 260,
yeah, right.
270 to be fair. So it was a case that the innings break was okay. We've just got to get 221.
Yep.
We'll talk about the other stuff after the game, regardless. And we came out. We lost a couple early, which I've gone balder and grayer in a space of half an hour. And then Coda Sisian and Tom Cody came out, and a partnership that's you don't expect kids of that age to come out and do. It was so mature. They just worked singles. They hit the bad ball for 4, and just didn't really give St George a sniff.
Yeah. And
so end up with needing 50 odd off 10 overs.
Yeah.
We lost Tom, but then Coda stepped up and just went bang, 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 and really ripped the heart out of the game and got us home with a couple of overs to spare.
Happy days.
Very much so. It's going to be much easier walking into Hurstville Oval, having won that game.
Just wear the medal. Well, congrats, David. Well done. Massive effort. I know all the great clubs. It's a big focus for them to want to be winning the Green Shield and producing the next lot of first grade cricketers. So it's a huge effort. All right, so the Big Bash is now getting down to the business end. We've got 2 more games to go. There's basically the grand final qualifier coming up. Sydney Sixers are already into the final. Had a great win against the Melbourne Stars. The tabletop Melbourne Stars, they really demolished them in that game to go straight into the grand final. Got the job done pretty easy in that one, which was good to see. So they've had the week off, which is interesting. That's a long break in a tournament like this. So they've had the week off to rest up and get ready. And then so we've got the Thunder versus the Stars on Thursday, and then the Thunder had just coming home with the proverbial wet sail.
It's a worry.
They were lucky to get in. They had to sort of win their last few games, and they had to rely on the Heat losing, which to be honest was probably odds on the way they've been playing. But yeah, then they went down to Hobart and beat the Hurricanes, which is a big effort. Then they went to Adelaide and they beat the Strikers, which is another big effort. Now, can they beat the Stars in Melbourne?
No.
Stevie's predicting. You're hoping they can't.
Don't get your Thunder fans. Don't get your tickets. You're done. Okay.
I don't think you can. The game's a sellout as well. The finals are a sellout.
I reckon there could be a bay or two. Just
20 tickets left for some away fans.
Just the away fan section. Yeah, right. There might be a bay or two at the cricket ground.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, it'd be a promoter's dream for a all Sydney final. Game. Me, I'm not so fussed about it. I don't really care who the Sixers play as long as we win.
The Stars are taking the gas.
Yeah, it was weird watching that game against the Sixers the other night. I know the Sixers have got Smith, Hazelwood, and Lyon back. But just the way, I spoke about it with the Green Shield. Stoinis, Maxwell, don't get runs.
Yeah, they
all of a sudden it falls apart.
There's a lot of pressure on the rest of them.
So someone else needs to step up, and that's what they need.
Yeah.
They need a Maddo or someone like that to stand up. And, I mean, the talent's there.
Yeah.
You just can't rely on two blokes getting you through all the time. But, look, Thunder's a big chance. They're on a roll. I was speaking to one of the guys in here yesterday, and to be honest, I'm not having a sledge. It is very much a Premier Cricket lineup.
Yeah,
the Thunder side, with a couple of blokes added in.
Yeah, obviously get
and they're playing cricket.
And
they're actually playing really good cricket because they're performing to what they can do.
Yes,
and they know their role and they're playing their role in the team.
They're doing a job, like you said before. They just go. The guys there do their job.
Yep, and it's working for them. How far till it actually stops. It could be Thursday night. It could be Saturday night.
Could be Saturday night. So, so the Sixers. How do you reckon? So the Sixers have had the week off. How do you reckon that's going to go for them heading into this final? Obviously, in the Big Bash, you're used to playing, every couple of days. Obviously, getting down, back into the season, guys obviously getting, there'll be a few niggles here and there. So it's probably nice to have a week off, but do you think that's going to sort of just derail their momentum? Whereas, say, if the Thunder get in, they've just been playing and winning, playing and winning, playing and winning.
Just on a roll.
You think that'll have an effect?
Oh, it may do. I mean, they might have a decent. They might find a centre wicket somewhere today or tomorrow, or just leading into the final to sort of get that sort of match feeling.
Yeah.
Situation. I don't know. It all depends what they've been doing in the last few days and how they'll get themselves right. No doubt there's some injuries lingering in there somewhere, but I'll leave that up to the coaches. I mean, they've got them this far, so
obviously like you said before, they've got some handy inclusions in Smith, Hazelwood, and Lyon. So even if they do have the week off, I'm sure those guys they're obviously experienced enough to be able to deal with that and help those other guys that maybe aren't as experienced in that to help them get up. So will be interesting on Saturday night because a bit of rain predicted for the back end of the week in Sydney. So
can hose it down all week. Because unlike the Green Shield where it would have been joint premiers, if it washed out, Sixers get the title.
Yeah.
Although you'd love to see 20 over game. 2020.
Yeah.
No interruptions, dry track, won't be decided on a toss of a coin.
Yep. Well, it's the other thing too that the rain could affect is obviously they've got the bushfire appeal game on before it.
Yep.
So you sort of don't want that to get washed out either.
No. I mean, there's no doubt that people would have bought tickets
just for that.
And
I'm sure if it does rain, I'm sure they'll probably end up rescheduling that game. I'm sure they'll just play it at some other time. I don't think they'll just cancel it. So
no.
So you're predicting the Stars are going to win on Thursday night?
Well, I am. It's more wanting.
More in hope than anything else.
More wanting than anything else. You'd like to say home ground advantage would help, although it didn't help when Sixers belted it.
No.
I reckon it's going to be down to the big two, Maxwell and Stoinis.
I've just with the momentum that the Thunder are carrying in, I've got a feeling that the Thunder are going to take the Stars. The Stars are just falling backwards, unfortunately for them. I'm thinking it's going to be an all Sydney clash, which will be massive.
Be exciting.
And then of course the Sixers will. But it'll be even better, it'll be even sweeter when the Sixers knock them off in the final.
Well, that's right. I mean, I know we went through this in end of footy season with East and South, and I said the same thing. I don't want to face South in a grand final because you wouldn't want to live the rest of your life putting up with a great unwashed, carrying on it like they do at South Sydney.
I mean, it was like the Green Shield grand final. You weren't overly confident facing St George. You didn't want to you didn't want to contemplate the the
other side of it,
the alternative. But now that you've come through it,
what an experience! How good was that? Yeah,
isn't it?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, so let us know what you think. Can the Stars, who at the early part of the tournament were the best team in the comp, are they going to get through? And will they take it out? Are the Thunder going to keep their momentum going and make it to the final and win, or will the Sydney Sixers take it all the way? Which is what I'm hoping for. Now, obviously, the Women's T20 World Cup is coming up at the end of this month and into March. So, as a warm-up, Australia are playing a Tri-Series against England and India. There's been 3 games already. Everybody's won one. Everybody has won one game. So, India beat England in the first game. Australia lost to England in the second, in the super over. And then Australia scraped over the line in a low-scoring game against India the other day. All those games were played in Canberra. So I think probably the things that come out of this game from or these games so far from an Australian point of view, they might be a little bit nervous with the batting. Haven't been the strongest batting performances, especially up top. Lost wickets early, which is a concern. Couple of key batsmen are probably probably struggling for a bit of form. So, Alyssa Healy's made some single-figure scores.
Just saving them.
Well, look, hopefully just saving them up. No point. Don't waste them in a Tri-Series. Rachel Haynes, a key middle order batsman, is also struggling a little bit for form. Didn't have a great big bash either. So, hopefully Rachel can find some form. Then the other worrying thing was that Meg Lanning missed the game against India with a back, with a sore back. She missed a few games in the past for that, so Aussies could be a bit nervous for that. Wouldn't want to be missing Meg in any of the World Cup games,
well, especially in a tournament. It's a short, compressed
tournament.
So you sort of a back. It's really bad if it's not right. You just can't play with any confidence or comfort.
Hard to. It's not something that can be fixed.
No,
quickly.
It'll linger.
It lingers.
It
affects. I mean, it affects everything. It affects all your movement. And so could be is a bit of a worry, but hopefully she'll come up. Obviously, Elise Perry's been carrying us through again. No Meg on Sunday against India, so Pez did the job, took wickets, scored runs. Usual performance from her.
I watched bits and pieces of that game on
Sunday.
Yes, it was running out. Still not out of holiday mode. And I don't know. I watched the Australian batting and just some ridiculous ways of getting out.
Yeah,
just the ball's going dead straight, and they're trying to work these angles and just play it back. Especially with the situation of the game. They had plenty of time if they'd set themselves right. It almost looked like there was a bit of panic that we've got to get this job done real quick.
Yeah.
But playing shots like that, it's not going to do anything for your confidence.
Just some of those. Yeah, worried about obviously no Meg. Worried about maybe getting out, so trying to get runs early.
Yeah, I think there was 2 in a row. I think it was Gardner and might have been Haynes. Trying to play the same sort of shot, albeit being left and right-handed, and just getting bowled.
To what were essentially straight deliveries.
Which she's just floating them out saying, hit me.
Yeah.
And they're just missing them.
Yeah.
Or play a straight back, or work an angle where you're using...
Well, not playing straight down the wicket. It's not playing straight down the wicket, trying to play squarer than you do.
And as just a watcher of the game, you sort of look at it and you get really frustrated. It's like, just hit the ball. Stop playing these fancy... rubbish.
Yeah.
And play it.
Just hit them.
Play it straight.
Just hit them. So that's something that they obviously need to work on. So Matthew Model, I'm sure will get that sorted. He's signed up to be coach again for a little bit longer. So he's obviously done a great job with them in recent times. So hopefully that will continue. And obviously we'll talk a bit more about the Women's World Cup as it goes on. Another keynote in this series so far is that Annabelle Sutherland has debuted for Australia. She's the daughter of the former boss of Australian cricket, James Sutherland. and no pressure, but one of Australia's current greats and all-time greats, Elise Perry's come out and said that she could possibly be one of the best of all time. So, nice ringing endorsement there from Elise, but no pressure on poor Annabelle, making her first international squad.
Who does she play for? State-wise,
Victoria,
right? And who does Elise Perry?
She's currently playing for Victoria.
I see.
And I want to say,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that affects comments. But
well, I mean, Pez has only just gone down to Victoria. She's only played 2 games for Victoria.
Well,
she's still from New South Wales. Pez
well,
is still from New South Wales.
You say that. I know there was a photo going around with New South Wales PWSA socks on.
Yeah, always wears the same socks.
Well,
so,
I'm all for wearing the same socks, but
always.
Well,
she'll be back. No, she'll be back. She'll be okay. She'll be back. She'll be back in New South Wales.
Didn't I think I heard either Dave told me or Annabelle Sutherland is among the youngest.
Yes.
To play the game. Is she among the youngest to play in the international squad?
She would be one of the youngest. She's not the youngest to debut for Australia. I think Elise Perry is still the youngest to.
How old was she when she debuted?
She was about 15, I think.
Okay, right.
Annabelle's a little bit older than that, but.
Yeah.
Has he got one of her shirts up on the wall at Westside yet?
I don't think so. Not Annabelle. No, not yet.
Come on, Dave. Lift your game.
Wouldn't surprise
Give him time.
Next time I walk into Westside, I want to see that jersey right on the wall.
Give him time.
Yep.
Give him time. But anyway, so Annabelle, one to watch.
You got a week.
You got a week.
And 2, this was the first time I can remember since we've been doing the podcast that I've heard of a Tri-Series. Is this a new thing, or is this something that's been going on for a while?
They don't usually. I haven't done a Tri-Series for a while. It's usually just the 2 teams together. But I think because it's obviously the World Cup year is a little bit different. So just to get a little bit of tournament play in.
Yeah.
Play a few other different teams.
That used to be summer.
Yeah.
So in Australia, you'd have, say, India and Pakistan come out and they'd play one-day games, and then they'd have a final at best of 3 final.
Best of 3 final.
Yeah. It's a cool format. I think the Tri-Series format is very interesting. You don't see it very often.
We used to do that. Yeah, we used to do that. It was one of the good parts of the summer. But
I like it.
Not at the moment, and the Aussie blokes haven't even played a one-day game in January. Anyway, we've discussed that before. Now, New Zealand took on India in a T20 series. That in itself, I'm not that worried about. It's not overly interesting. India's touring New Zealand, and they're playing ODIs, and they're going to play Test as well. They played 5 T20 games. India won all of them. Again, probably not too surprising. But the interesting out of this is that New Zealand managed to lose 2 of those T20s in super overs. Now, if you know about New Zealand's recent history with super overs, it's not great. They've now lost 3 games to super overs. One of them obviously being the World Cup final.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, still debating on whether they lost it or just didn't have enough boundaries. But still. But again, they've lost 2 super overs.
Joint premiers.
How do you think? What do you think New Zealand think of super overs? Do you think they're a fan of super overs?
Oh, I think they need.
Or they just like a tie.
They need to know how to start winning them,
don't they? It's becoming it'll becoming a complex.
Yeah, look, it's a strange one. Well, in the end, would they really care? Probably not. They wouldn't like going down 5-0 on their home patch. That's for sure.
No.
But yeah, these little. It's really weird, the feeling of these games. They treat them as warm-up games or whatever you want to call them. They've lost their shine, some of these competitions, because they get treated like selectors treat them as sort of warm-up. Okay, we'll give this bloke to see
how he's going.
How he's going to have a crack. Is there too much...
I think 5 T20s is too long anyway.
I suppose you got to warm up, and it's all about money, and it all sort of flows in, and I'll shut up now because I don't know the answer to it. And
so there's no more traditional warm up games anymore. You're not playing. England don't come over here and play. A 4-day game against each state.
Yeah.
We don't go to England and play county games before we play the test matches.
And the players playing want to win.
Yeah.
Not for them. People might say it's just a warm up game or whatever, but the players go out and they want to win. But yeah, just the promotion around these things. It's sort of like, and then lead up to the World Cup. So
you got to play some T20 games, yes, because the Men's World Cup is also on in Australia at the end of this year, October, November. So you're going to be playing some T20 games to get ready. I think the interesting thing here is just New Zealand's inability to win in Super Overs. It is becoming. There has to be some sort of mental scarring that when they get in a Super Over.
Did they lose them by much, or?
Well, lost them by enough.
No, I'm just thinking, when it came down to the last ball.
Well, they sort of coming down to last ball, second last ball type things. Maybe they'd 10 off 2, something that you think you might be able to defend. Be getting hit for 2 sixes and the game being over.
Right.
It's getting if you can't win those games, it's just I don't know how they're going to get over it. I'm not sure. A lot of work for the sports psychologist and the coach to try and get these guys over that mental hurdle to get the job done. So interesting from that point of view. To if they keep getting, they seem to be able to get themselves into these Super Over situations. Yeah. So they're competing in these games, but then they get to the Super Over and then it kind of just.
We'll just win it in normal time.
Well, that's always the key.
Easy game.
It's an easy way to fix it. If you've got an inability to win in a Super Over, win it before it gets there.
Look, let's not complicate things. Just win it.
Just win it. Yeah,
win it or lose it.
Just win it in the 20 over, the 20 or the 50 overs. You don't need that extra one. Just win it in the 20 or the 50, and then you're fine.
Don't play 21-21.
No, or 51-51. Now also the under 19 World Cup is going on. And Australia had an okay tournament, but I think we got knocked out in the quarterfinals.
Okay.
Well, not great. I said okay. We made the quarterfinals and lost. If we got further, then I would have said we were going all right. We had an okay tournament.
Absolutely ours.
Yeah. Anyway. But again, another interesting incident happened in the Afghanistan versus Pakistan quarterfinal. Where one of the Afghani bowlers decided to Mankad one of the Pakistani bowlers.
The Mankad is back.
The Mankad is back.
More Mankad.
Stephen, what's your thoughts on the Mankad? Being a bowler.
Steve, have you ever Mankaded someone?
No.
Have you thought about it?
I don't think I ever because back in the day, it was a warning. You'd warn them first, and then if they do it again, you go.
Yeah.
No, I never man-catted anyone. There were times where I probably should have. But yeah, it's one of those ones. It's a tough one for me. I'm coming round to the thought of if the batsman wants to leave early, then he should be punished.
Yeah.
Because
do you think you should be like think it should be a Mankad or should the umpire warn them, or should you lose 5 runs? Should there be you lose 5 penalty runs, or I mean Mankad is a legitimate way to get out. So why is there such a big kerfuffle?
It's just the way it's done.
Yeah,
I know there's no other way to do it, but it's just the look. The look of it, it just doesn't look right.
It's a very gotcha sort of thing. Like I saw that it had happened on social media over the weekend. I was with my wife and father-in-law, and so the discussion came up. My father-in-law loves cricket. He's an Australian guy and loves cricket. My wife's not really interested in cricket.
No,
has a basic understanding of the game, right? But so explained to her what a Mankad is, and her response straight away was like, "Oh, that's dirty." So for somebody, an objective third party, to hear about the thing and the response not be like, "Oh, that's fair," that's just like, no, that's not good. It's against the spirit of the game.
Well, yeah, they always say, it's against the spirit of the game. But like the non-striker, in order to get man-catted, has to be out of his crease. So is that not against the spirit of the game as well, that you're out of your crease before the bowler bowls the ball? It's a two-way street here.
Yeah. No, I've as I said, I'm coming around to the fact that if blokes want to leave their crease early, then it's fair game.
Yeah.
Especially now with the short form, they're all trying to get the cheeky single or whatnot. So
it's not. I understand. It's not a great way to get a wicket or make a dismissal. It is a bit sneaky.
Not honourable.
Rather than if you've been saying that, if you've been noticing, if you're the bowler, you've been noticing that the bloke's leaving early. Say, mate, I know you're going early. If you do it, I'm gonna run you out.
Yeah.
maybe that's all right because then it's then it's the batsman's fault. But if you just do it once and you just take the bails off and then celebrate like this bloke did, this bloke.
I think that's
thought he'd taken a hat trick.
I think that's what I found most obnoxious about this particular incident was
it's
the bowler.
You might do it, but I don't think you need to celebrate that. You just knock him off and you just go, mate.
Just go, mate. It is what it is.
He was the cat that got the cream.
Yeah. He was a bit too excited about it, and the captain came out after the game and said, "Yeah, look, it's not quite in the spirit of the game, but
right."
Well, I mean, if people don't like it that much, then do you get rid of the? You get rid of that rule?
I mean, I could see maybe if you're playing devil's advocate, if you get rid of the rule, then that would allow a batsman to take better advantage of that.
Just like,
well, if you're halfway down the track, then you get run out.
But then, instead of making it a way of dismissal, why not just have the umpire let that be? Somebody's got to be watching the batsman. Right?
I'm thinking the umpire's struggling to watch the front foot at the moment. So
I think it's as a bowler, you're running in, your focus is straight down there.
Yeah.
I think you only really notice it when he's a long way out because you're up here, and if he's over there, you can probably still see him. He's still in your eye line,
right?
So you only really notice it when they're a long way out.
They have to be a long way out.
Yeah, and to be fair about this last incident too, the guy was way ahead. It wasn't a
distance.
Small distance.
It was also on about 60 odd, and
And you're taught as a batsman, you're trailing with your bat, and it's usually, a split second between, okay, ball let go, you're out of your crease.
Yeah.
You're 2 steps down, waiting, see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
right. Most of this, I think, comes down to the batsman. Just
it's a batsman's game.
Yeah.
We all know that.
We won't go there. We won't go there. We won't go there.
It's a joke.
Said by a bowler.
Bloody batsman.
Said by a bowler. All right, now there was some other sport on. The Australian Open has been run and won.
Watched a little bit of that.
So the women's, fortunately for Australia, Ash Barty couldn't quite get there. Lost in the semi-finals, but still a big effort from her, the first Aussie female to make the semi-finals since about 1980 or something. So
disappointing result though.
Look, you're obviously slightly disappointed because she's the world number one, so you'd like to think that she'd be at least making the final,
right?
And so I think her and herself would be disappointed that she did make it at least to the final. I think she'd be fairly satisfied that at least she got into the semi-final, probably without actually playing her best tennis. To be fair, she probably didn't play her absolute best. I think if she played her absolute best, that she would have made the final and won. It was kind of set up for her, with the results in other games and some of the big names losing early. But Sophia Keenan, the young American, 21-year-old, won her first Grand Slam, which is good to see. Beat Garbine Muguruza from Spain, who had a great tournament. She was unseeded. She's coming back from a couple of years of injuries, and she was playing some good tennis. And I thought she actually might knock it off. The fact that Barty wasn't in there, I thought she might get the job done. But and started out well, won the first set, but then Kenan came back and won the next two and got the job done. So congratulations.
You were in Melbourne recently. You got to watch a bit of it, huh?
Yes.
What matches did you get to see?
So I got to see. I was lucky enough to see the Djokovic Raonic.
Awesome. That's really
game.
Cool,
man. So that was good to see. So got to see. And speaking of Djokovic, he obviously won his 8th title. I think at the Australian Open. They beat Dominic Thiem in a 5-set marathon. An epic, as they say.
Yep.
I went to bed after 3 sets.
Yeah, that was the same. Like I watched.
You thought, I think
Team was up 2-1.
I think Team's got this.
I'm like, I think he's going to win it. Good and well done. But it was interesting the way the crowd reacts to Novak.
He's an interesting character. He's hard. I'm not sure if he's hard to like. If it's just sort of some of his antics on the court and stuff. Obviously, one of the best tennis players of all time, but difficult. Yeah, people. You either love him or you hate him.
Right.
There was obviously that incident with the umpire.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Which was not great. I thought the umpire probably.
I thought the umpire was that, and I think I must have missed that. Is that later?
After the time violations, so I think it would have been in the third set.
I think. I would have been harsher on that. I think he probably should have got points penalty or something for touching the umpire. In every sport, you're always told don't touch the umpire. You don't need to touch him, even though you thought it was friendly. Don't touch him.
It was condescending. It was
condescending. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he had no one else to blame but himself. The reason why they brought in this shot clock, basically for serving, was because guys like Nadal and Djokovic.
They're bouncing
can take 10 minutes to serve.
That's about 40 times.
And they do it on purpose. They slow the game down because they're either getting beaten or they're behind, and they need to, just halt momentum.
Yeah, right.
And that's why they brought it in. You've got 30 seconds to serve, right? If Novak's got to bounce the ball 1,400 times before he can serve, he's just going to have to hurry it up.
They'll start needing new balls after 4 games soon because the balls are worn out. They just keep bouncing on the ground.
And so
just serve the thing.
And they know
it's not that hard.
They know what's up. They know what's up. They know what the penalty is. And for him to react like that was pretty poor.
3 bounces.
Actually, you know what I would have done as an umpire? I would have kicked him out. I would have said, mate, you're gone. That's it. It's over.
For the bouncing?
No, for touching him and just being a jerk. You're gone, mate.
Didn't his New Balance shoes look beautiful?
Oh,
they were the New Balance Rove.
Yes, from
big shout out to Gary Crowfoot. Well done, Gary.
Yeah, they got great shoe. That went everywhere.
Yeah,
that went everywhere. How's your barista brothers going?
They're great people.
Delicious.
They're on board. Excellent stuff. Iced chocolate. Yeah. Beautiful drop.
And then what about? And then also,
I suppose.
And then also Novak and his mystery medical timeouts. He wasn't quite sure what was on. Even himself said that he didn't have any injuries. He was just a bit tired.
Yeah.
Now I would have thought, yes, after playing, if you're playing 4 or 5 sets of tennis, you would be tired.
Well, imagine how the team felt. Yeah. He played almost double the match time in the whole tournament than Novak.
I was a bit tired. I had to take a medical timeout. Now again,
but even the when they do their chat in some park in Melbourne after he wins it, he wasn't really apologetic to the chair umpire. I probably shouldn't have done it. Ha ha ha. Yeah. It's like, no, mate, you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
and you should show a little bit more than that. So I don't know what happened at the end, whether he shook his hand and apologised at the end.
Probably shook his hand, but he was more worried about his hand and the trophy and the cheque.
Yeah, I was in the land of not at that stage. So you've got to have a little bit more
class.
Class. Just say, look, I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Kids are watching this.
Yeah.
You can't touch officials.
And mouth off at him like that as well.
Yeah.
I know. Obviously, the umpires and the officials aren't the stars of the game. The participants are, but you can't just yell at the bloke for doing his job.
You looked at Australian Open's probably the only really good amount of tennis that I watch.
Yeah.
Naturally, because of the time of year, and you've got a bit of time off, and it's always on TV. Tennis players.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the individual. If it's the individual
I think
nature.
It has a lot to do with the individual nature. Personally, when you're, it's pure competition, 1-on-1. There's no, if there's something goes wrong, if you lose a match, you absolutely have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah. They have a red hot crack at blaming someone.
They always look at somebody else.
That bloke on the 40th row up there. Shut up.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that everyone know, like in those moments maybe, but when the match is over, everyone knows the only person that accountable
is yourself.
They look at their entourage over and they got 30 blokes stand every time he wins a point. They go, "Way, well done, way, mate, settle down."
Yeah.
At one point, they'd be as tight as the players.
Well, no,
getting up and down.
They have to cheer because that's where the paycheck's coming from. So you got to support it. Otherwise, you're gone and someone else comes.
Otherwise, you get yelled at.
Yeah,
that was your fault. I missed that forehand. You goose.
Yeah. What's he? He's my driver.
Yeah.
That's why I missed the point. Yeah, my driver wasn't supporting enough.
Like, it's just a carry on. And they carry on. They treat the ball girls and ball boys like rubbish.
I tell you what. So
get them a towel.
So it's the
you get it.
So it was the first time I'd been to tennis. I'd not gone to any tennis before.
Oh, really?
Ever.
Okay,
So it's the first time I've been to tennis. I mean, I tell you what, mate, those ball kids, mate, phenomenal. Mate,
oh, yeah.
The moving around, the coordination they've got, just everything works perfectly.
Well, at least you can appreciate that if the players aren't taking the game seriously, that at least the ball kids are taking the game.
Oh, some of the catches. Some good catches taken as well.
Mate, good
and the crowd let them know.
They've got good hands.
But they treat them like crap. It's just wrong.
Why do you need a towel after every point too?
Well, it's pretty hot down there,
Yeah, I know. I understand sometimes in Melbourne it is 40 degrees. It is warm, but like, when did towels come? I mean, I remember watching back in the day. There was no one was bringing a towel.
Get a headband.
No one was bringing a towel. Yeah, Bjorn Borg wasn't getting a towel every 5 minutes, was he?
No,
I can't believe how charged our discussion of the Australian Open has gotten.
Oh,
no,
it's great. I don't know.
Seriously,
Yeah.
tennis players, grow up. You were a ball boy once, or a ball girl once.
Maybe not.
Oh, just
I tell you what I found. What I learned was an interesting stat. So, lucky enough to also do a tour down there at the Australian Open. They said that so with the Australian Open, you can only be a ball kid until you're 15.
well, that's discrimination. We need to speak to someone about that.
only
The
need to be 15.
ageism in the ball kids.
Yeah.
The ball kids
ageism.
only up to 15. At the US Open, it's a job for life.
Really?
Yep.
I'd love to see.
Yeah.
A
So if anybody,
60-year-old ball
so it's
retriever.
obviously, well, if anybody's a
Kramer.
Seinfeld fan,
Oh, right.
Kramer.
yeah, they've got there's 50, 60-year-old ball kids.
I
So
forgot
at the US
about
Open,
Kramer being a ball
watch the
kid.
US Open,
Took out Monica
and if
Seles.
you wonder why,
did.
if you're looking at some of the ball kids and going, geez, that kid's old.
Yeah.
It's because job for life. If you want to do it when you're 60, you can still do
That's
it when you're 60.
awesome.
Well, there you go. I'm watching the US Open now,
Yeah,
just for
that's
the ball
awesome.
men.
Just for the ball, yeah, for the
ball
ball
adults.
the
Ball
ball,
men.
the ball people, the ball people.
That's great.
Now also, obviously, there was a fairly minor event on yesterday. Something I think they call the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think the participants were J-Lo and
the one out of
Shakira.
the Latin American
Shakira.
American Super Bowl.
So I think that was the big contest, wasn't it? It
Was.
was a bit of a dance off and a sing off, I think.
Yep.
They played a bit of. I think they played something before and after that just to pass the time.
There was a little football, I
A
think,
little
before and after.
football game. Yes. Now,
Yep.
obviously.
Human chess.
Human chess, yeah. Let's
Human chess. Come
that
on,
That
let's-
was a bit of a joke. Yeah, it is a bit of human chess, but obviously, so the Kansas City Chiefs were playing
40-minute game goes for 8 hours.
the San
Seriously,
Francisco
rein it in.
49ers.
Stop talking and play ball.
Or did we fit another nerf?
Interesting
Oh,
stat, though, that
no.
in the history of the World Championship that is the Super Bowl.
Let's-
The World
Wait a
Championship.
minute.
Here we
Wait
go.
a
That's what I said. All
Wait a minute.
54, all
Let's not-
54 victors have been American.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
an
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
stat. How good are they?
Yeah,
They dominate.
Yeah. Well, I think that's an entire podcast segment that we can get into. We can get into that later. But anyway, Kansas City Chiefs.
Don't you dare call it gridiron either.
Beat. No, they call it gridiron.
They
It's
do
a
call
gridiron.
it
It's a
No,
gridiron.
gridiron is the actual field
It's the
they
field.
play on.
Yes,
field they
it's the
play
field
on.
they play
Yeah,
on.
Right.
you
Yes.
shouldn't call it that.
That's
Anyway,
true.
So
That's true.
the Chiefs.
That's
Kansas,
what I remember from high school.
No, Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-20.
They did.
The Chiefs scored 21 unanswered points in the fourth
They did.
quarter. So
The 4 minutes I
Much
missed.
to the chagrin of my good friend Glenn, who's a 49ers fan.
obviously there are some questions being asked in San Francisco.
Well, it saved
Yeah.
us from all those Jared Hayne T-shirts and caps coming back out.
That's true. Yeah.
You know,
I'm not sure even if they did win that you would be advised to wear anything with Hayne on it.
Well done to the Chiefs.
the Chiefs got the job
They
done.
did.
But yeah, come on.
It is.
What's
look,
a,
it is-
what's
it
a
is-
quarter? How long does a quarter go for? 10 minutes?
15 minutes
15
on the
minutes.
clock.
Well, that long. Wow.
Yeah,
And
Well,
it went,
that's clock time, though, and the clock
Yeah.
stops a lot.
and it
Yeah.
went for what, 5 hours?
6 days.
Um,
They reckon Test cricket's long.
and then even I know it's a show, but imagine the grand final here being all they speak about first is the halftime entertainment.
Yeah.
All right, I don't see when Taylor Swift's performing a football game break out. So come on, guys.
I mean, it's so tough to compare, though,
So
man.
that's the thing. That problem
It's
is
so tough to compare.
So the Super Bowl halftime entertainment has ruined it for certainly for Australian sports because we try and do something
ads?
similar and it's horrible. There's been some absolutely disgraceful halftime entertainment.
But people actually try and compare it the other way. Like, the grand final halftime entertainment was terrible. We had Jimmy Barnes and
yeah, Cold Chisel for
some
the
old
fifth
bloke.
year in a
It's
row.
like, well,
Billy Idol.
you know what? I don't care.
No,
I'm
'cause
going to get a drink.
Yes, because
I'm going to have a slash.
Because our halftime is the idea is to get in the queue,
have
to
a
try,
break.
to try and buy some overpriced food and a beverage.
Yes. I
and
want to
maybe-
buy my $11 schooner
and maybe relieve yourself so you can get back and watch the game
and have a $12 pie.
Because that's what you've came for.
Yeah.
Not for the halftime.
I'm not here for some bloke singing. Like, if I hear him in the line, well played,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Well, you know,
Just,
Yeah,
you
well,
just pop along.
What are you paying for grand final tickets?
well,
you're
you
paying
get
a
upwards
bit.
of-
Depends.
You're
where
not
you're
paying
going.
Super
You're not
Bowl
You're not
money.
paying Super Bowl money. No, you're
Right.
not paying. What about? Did you see that fan that was asleep?
Yeah, I
some-
did.
and it was
I did.
asleep.
The most expensive
Brilliant.
nap of all time.
Mate,
Brilliant.
I did.
I hope that was a corporate ticket.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we're
think you got it
looking-
for free.
There's tickets
Oh, you can pay like
upwards
$500
of
bucks.
$600,
Yeah,
$700.
yeah. Not for
grand final
everything.
ticket.
They're not Super Bowl prices because that's just.
I mean,
that's
Super Bowl tickets have to be
you'd have
thousands
5
of
people
dollars.
there.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Well, that's the thing too. I know population plays a role, but also just general support, or I don't know exactly what the root cause of it is or whatever. But just I've been to a handful of NRL games here.
Yeah,
and just the turnout is it's on a
we get
America
even
college.
We get a couple of people. I mean, it's
even the college level American football.
College or the
it's an order
NFL
of magnitude different
where everybody turns up.
Yeah, it's just different. It's different environment.
Culture.
It's just culture. We might go along. You go along to a few games and you get the diehards to go all the time. But otherwise, we're happy to just sit at home and watch it on a Sunday afternoon.
Sure.
Whatever.
You go to Melbourne, watch an AFL game.
Melbourne's different. Everybody will turn up.
I've heard that Melbourne shows up.
Everybody will turn up for an
get
AFL game. If it's even so, depending on what game it is. So Collingwood, Carlton, there'll be 90,000 at the MCG for just for a round game. Both sides could be coming last in the table.
Yeah,
and they'll turn up.
That's awesome.
Whereas if the Gold Coast Titans and I don't know.
Don't you dare.
The St George Illawarra Dragons are playing. You might get maybe a family member may think about turning up, but then you get not as many people. But that's it. So maybe on that wonderful uplifting note, perhaps I'm not sure if that was uplifting or not. Let us know what you think about halftime entertainment, the Super Bowl, Mankading.
So in my run sheet, I've got Green Shield again. I don't know what's that all about. You need me to talk more about that?
Well,
I just found out the Premier's dinner's on the 15th of May, so get your tickets.
Get your tickets. Just even if you have no idea what it is, just turn up just to support Stephen, just to give him a clap as he gets up.
You'll have to pay for your ticket. We get ours free, being Premiers, but
that's lucky.
But no, it was Super Bowl. I can't get into it, but well done to everyone involved. And
I mean, in terms of a sporting event and
a spectacular
and a spectacle, it's larger than life. It's the biggest.
And it's sport on TV.
It's the biggest event.
The day.
It's the biggest event of the year. It's just ginormous. It's mind-boggling.
If you haven't seen the Jeep commercial, this Groundhog Day themed.
Well, at least even that, you just get great commercials.
Great commercial. The Groundhog Day Jeep commercial is
it's just,
my favorite.
Yeah.
Why aren't these commercials good all the way through the year?
It's money, man. It's big money.
You're not paying as much money. If you're going to pay that much money, you want it to be good.
It's got to be great.
Use it for the whole year and just wear the crap out.
I don't know, maybe, but yeah.
Anyway, nobody talks
about
those commercials. Everybody talks about Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if anybody. To be honest, I'm not sure. For most people, I'm not sure they could name who won the game. I'm not even sure they could name who played in the game, but they could tell you who performed at halftime and how good the ads were.
Yeah.
For the casual observer.
That's right.
Fair enough.
That's right.
And on that note, I think we'll leave it
start
there.
Players playing us out.
Just start playing us out.
Yeah.
I got to go to work.
So we just stop talking.
Yeah. Again, thanks for joining us. If you're here watching us on YouTube, thanks for watching us on YouTube. And if you're a listener, you can hear us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. If you're listening to podcasts on other platform, the RSS feed for our podcast is in the description of our YouTube videos. And then tell us what you think. Give us your comments, questions, feedback at facebook.com/Kingsgrove Sports Center, Instagram at Kingsgrove Sports, Twitter at Kingsgrove Sport, and use the hashtag KSC Podcast to point your comments at us. And then that's it.
That's it. We're done. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching, listening.
Barista Brothers, go out and get some.
One of the best.
Lights off.
And don't forget, get some New Balance shoes too. Well done, Gary.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.